If you want to shape a loaf of bread for a pan like this one, watch this video.
Once your dough has gone through bulk fermentation, it's time to shape. This sourdough bread has been bulk fermenting for 5 hours, and the bubbles tell me it's ready to go. First, sprinkle your counter with a little bit of flour. Then gently loosen the dough from the sides of the bowl. Turn out the dough onto your counter so there's a sticky side on top and a floured side underneath. Once your dough is on the counter, carefully shape it into a ball by stretching each corner of the dough and pulling it up over the center. This is called a pre-shape because you're pre-shaping the dough into a ball before you shape it into a pan shape later. Now that you've shaped your dough into a ball, clean some of the flour out of your way with your bench scraper and flip your dough over onto the counter with the seam side down and the smooth side facing up. Then start rounding out the corners of the dough ball with your hands. This creates tension in the top of the dough. You can do this part with a bench scraper too if you want. Then cover the dough with a kitchen towel and let it rest. 30 minutes if it's sourdough, 15 minutes if it's yeasted dough. Once your dough has rested, grab whatever pan or tin you're going to be using. I'll be using the small Pullman pan from USA Pan. It's my favorite non-stick option. It's time to give the dough its final shape and put it in the pan. Start by sprinkling the top of your dough with a little more flour. Then flip it over. Then dimple the dough out just a little bit so that it becomes sort of a flat disc. Now this is where you're going to fold the dough in a very specific way. Fold the dough over against itself on each side, creating a sort of triangle shape, where it's going to be wider at the bottom and narrower at the top. Okay, maybe not really a perfect triangle, but it's kind of close. Just kind of flatten this out a little bit so that it's easier to roll up later. And here's why I like to shape it into a triangle. This wider part at the bottom of the triangle should be just a little bit smaller than the width of your pan. As long as the wide part of the dough is almost as wide as your pan, your dough will be the perfect size for your pan every time. So just start rolling it up, grabbing the narrow part of the dough and rolling it towards you, tucking and rolling, creating a tight roll of dough. When you get to the end, just gently fold the ends underneath, and then start pinching the seam. You can pinch the seam on the bottom and on the sides until everything's closed up. And you've got a perfectly shaped loaf of bread for your pan. Then to even further help the dough not stick to your pan, I like to sprinkle the top and the sides with a little bit of flour. Then just drop the dough gently into your pan with the seam side facing down. Now you can just cover the dough and let it rise until it's ready to bake. This has been how to shape a loaf of bread for a pan. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to learn how to make better bread, sourdough, and pizza at home, subscribe to the Grant Bakes YouTube channel for new videos every single week.